Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us for this season 4 of Encounter. In the studio of the NBC today, we have Geerish Ramgolam, a Buddhist Zen teacher. Welcome to the studio and thank you for giving us your time.
Thanks for having me again, Roshan.
Well, Geerish, not only you're young, but you're also Zen. And at the same time, professionally, you are a teacher at an international school located in the north of Mauritius. If I'm not mistaken, you teach mathematics and IT or English?
No, I teach maths. I'm the head of faculty of maths and IT, so that's how IT is associated with my name.
Fantastic. And from a previous interview we've had before in Encounter, you had mentioned that a lot of what you learn and what you preach as a Buddhist Zen teacher, you try to pass it on to your students. So we can't start this interview without mentioning the effects and impact of COVID and how it has affected everyone's life, especially you in teaching, especially you in adapting, how you meet new challenges. And one of the main points of focus that I would like to address today, Geerish, is a lot of people they have gone off their normal routine because COVID has just changed their way of living. And it also affects levels of motivation, it affects our routine, it affects how serious or committed we are towards. And I think this is one of the main topics that we will be focusing today. So Geerish, can you please tell us in the teaching field, how has COVID affected you?
In the teaching field, so we had to teach online, but the good thing with us is that we've always been teaching online during the holiday setting work. We always had the platform to teach online when we had the rainy days in Mauritius, when we had flooding. So that's when the school decided to look at an online system where they can teach online when we have floods. So we had that system online. When COVID happened, we just used that platform we already created just to teach online the whole time. As a Zen practitioner, you're always embracing chaos in a sort of way. If you look at the way we are trained to meditate, it goes as deep as when you sit, you as if get yourself ready to die, in a sense. So that deep connection with death, meaning you have the present moment right now, and right now I'm talking to you, I may be driving and I die on the way home. I'm very aware of that. A lot of people don't think about death. So the fact that you're always thinking that your life is really short and you have that moment with you and you need to live it fully, makes you embrace that moment in a very different way, meaning you really give your full focus. You don't slug or...
But does that not give you a negative approach with the fear of dying? Or well, it's not a very positive thing to talk about. Of course, we cannot deny it. It's a part of life. But does it not limit your options and your opportunities and how you go forward then, if you keep that in mind?
Actually, no. I'll tell you a talk I had with someone very close to me. In a discussion, since we have a very strong friendship, I told the person that, I'm very aware that I may die or you may die. So this moment right now where we are sharing, we're talking about our life experiences, that's very unique. And I really want to tell you how much you mean to me. So that realization that death is around the corner actually makes me live that present moment very intensely. And obviously it's not... I don't talk about death with the students, but when during the COVID, when we were isolated and we were having our lessons, they were very intense lessons. But one thing I've done is, for me, my life is very clear in terms of priorities. What are the things which are very important for me? And I can easily share that with you. It's not that personal. The first one is professional work, so I need to dedicate a certain number of hours to it. The second one is exercise. I need to exercise so many hours. The third one is meditation. It's very important. If I don't do it, my day doesn't go well. So that's the third one. The fourth one is research. I need to be reading about new things, listening to new people, or discussing with friends, coming up with ideas, or it's just me writing down. Okay? And the fifth one is actually family time. That's very important for me. Friendship has a great place in my life. I would actually do anything for friends, actually. It's that extreme. So these are the 5 key things which drive me. And I will be very honest with you, the number of hours I spend on those things, I really have no time for distraction or read something on social media or be distracted by some other story. I'm very involved into those 5 things.
How long have you been practicing it, and what has been the difference since you've focused on these 5 topics?
It's something I started to practice this year. I've been doing it subconsciously the whole time. Friends have always been something very valuable to me, the same as work. I really love teaching maths or researching about math, but it's just that I brought structure to it because I did notice that on some days maybe I didn't meditate. Then I said, no, that's not the right thing, or you miss exercising one day. So I needed to make sure that I'm going through them every day.
So you say out of the 5 things, number 1 was work. So you have a number of dedicated hours that you devote to work.
Yeah.
Then second thing, you mentioned about meditation.
Meditation, yeah.
Is there a specific technique that you practice every day? I remember you mentioning staring at the wall.
Yeah, staring at the wall.
So that's just staring at a blank wall.
Yeah.
Can you please share with our viewers what it is?
Yeah, it's an amazing practice. It's the Zen way of meditating. So you basically have your eyes half opened. And
like you're squinting?
Yeah,
okay.
Half open.
Okay.
It has a meaning. I'm going to explain in a minute. You have it half open and you look at the wall and your hands are in a certain mudra, like we say, in certain sitting position.
It's the Buddha way of...
Yeah, and your feet can be half lotus or full lotus, depending on how flexible your body is. And you look at the wall,
For 5 minutes?
At least 15 minutes, because it takes at least 15 minutes for the mind to calm down or put you in a sort of state. But if you can manage 5 minutes...
It's a good start?
It's a good start, I would say.
But thoughts still come in your mind when you're looking at a blank wall.
That's the practice, actually. You look at the wall. The reason for looking at the wall is because it's static, right?
Yeah.
And you won't be distracted. If you look at the flame, it's still moving a bit, and those sorts of things. Or if you look at the flower, you may be distracted by its beauty. So the wall is very flat, and you look. The reason why it's like that, it's because it brings a sort of equanimity to you, because you look at it in a very neutral and detached manner. And the reason for the eye being half open, half closed is because that's the practice you should bring to your life, where you're not fully extrovert in the physical world, but you're also inside of you in terms of inner peace. So you're half inside, half outside. That's a practice. And you look at the wall with your eyes half open, because it's going to be a challenge to keep your eyes still. It's going to become teary. You may have the tendency to move your eyes or check what's happening.
So when you
on
say
the
you
side.
stare at the wall, you don't blink your eyes?
No, you try not to.
Oh, you did not mention that.
Yeah, at the start it's not easy, but I can actually do that.
Geerish, you also mentioned about you spend time on research. Of course, family and friends, that's your personal life. But research isn't, you spend X amount of time every day reading about things that you're very passionate.
Yeah.
Is it about teaching? Is it about what you teach? Is it about how you teach? Is it about what you want to know about life? Is it something...
A broad range of topics. It could be about teaching. It could be about math. It could be about a certain practice. It could be about what's happening in Korea. It could be about artificial intelligence, how we're going to use it in self-automated cars, like Elon Musk is doing with Tesla. It's a range of topics. I'm just very curious.
It's just what? You keep on educating yourself.
You know what's beautiful with that moment of research? It has no connection to what I want to achieve. It's just me being curious. So it's as if you question yourself on something and you want to find an answer to it, but you don't know what's going to be the answer. And the answer can actually destabilize you because it can be against your own personal belief. So that's the kind of research where it's a bit dangerous. You're researching on something and then you can challenge your own beliefs or your own peace of mind. For example, I'll just tell you something that I've read about. There is a lady called Park. Okay, she ran from North Korea, went through China where she was sold as a sex slave, and then managed to go to the US. And then now she's fully independent and she gives interviews where she talks about her trauma. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that in North Korea, the mothers, they prefer to sell their children to China as sex slaves rather than stay in Korea, because that's a better life. So that kind of truth, which maybe we don't want to learn about because it's too scary. Mm-hmm.
But it's happening to people around the world.
It's happening to people. So I won't say I enjoy reading those things, but it keeps me to bring balance to whatever I'm living because I feel extremely grateful.
Exactly.
With my life when I look at the other extreme.
It keeps you grounded and helps you build gratefulness towards the life that you already have.
Yeah, definitely.
We spoke about work, meditation, research, family and friends. There's one exercise. So do you exercise every day? Why is that?
Why? Because from a Zen point of view, once again, the body and the mind is one thing. So if the body is not well, the mind starts to get affected. You can't stay motivated if your body is not exercising enough. So you need to keep your body in shape, and that's why Zen monks or people who meditate in the Zen temples, they actually clean the place a lot. They're always washing or using the broom, cleaning. It's not because it makes them become disciplined. It does. But actually, physical activity is very important, and it's something the Buddha realized at that point and made them do those things.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a short break. We'll have a look at what a Buddhist Zen teacher does in real life and what are the aims and objectives. Stay here. We'll be back shortly. A Buddhist Zen teacher is also known as a Zen master, a vague English term that arose in the first half of the 20th century, used to refer to an individual who teaches Zen Buddhist meditation and practices, usually implying long-time study and subsequent authorization to teach and transmit the tradition themselves. Zen is the Japanese name for a Buddhist tradition practiced by millions of people across the world. Zen is as diverse as its practitioners, but common features include an emphasis on simplicity and the teaching of non-duality and non-conceptual understanding. Non-duality is sometimes described as not one, not two, meaning that things are neither entirely unified nor are they entirely distinct from one another. Zen recognizes, for example, that the body and mind are interconnected. They are neither the same nor completely separate. Non-conceptual understanding refers to insight into things as they are that cannot be expressed in words. Ultimately, Zen Buddhism offers practitioners ways to heal their hearts and minds and connect with the world. Today in the West, many practitioners come to Zen looking to gain peace of mind and mental clarity through meditation. Like all schools of Buddhism, Zen begins with an understanding that human beings suffer, and it offers a solution to this suffering through recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings and learning to live in a way that aligns with this truth. Welcome back to Encounter, and we still have Geerish with us in the studio. Geerish, we spoke about a few topics earlier. One of the things that I have heard, especially from meeting many people, is they're having trouble managing their own emotions. A lot of people are going through stress. A lot of people are going through depression. which is understandable because we're going through hard times. But that's not only here for people we know, not only Mauritius, all around the world. And there's a lot of anger that is associated with these feelings. Do you feel the same, that there's a lot of hardships going around?
It's quite normal to feel like that. But it's not the feeling of anxiety or stress or anger which is really the problem. I think the problem is we don't have coping strategies for those things when they happen to us.
Okay.
For example, when we are stressed, people tell us, no, don't get stressed. It's going to be fine. But that's not a solution to just say, don't get stressed. There should be coping mechanisms.
The way how the coping mechanism of people with anger and other emotions, I don't know if they're dealing with it the right way. And it's something that I think would be very interesting that we talk a bit about.
If the anger is trying to make you react in such a way that is harmful to yourself and others, if that's the kind of anger we're talking about, then we need to manage it. So the first step is always accepting it.
But you have to be mindful to know how much it's affecting you, because then you lose your peace of mind. The other person is fine and you're still thinking about it about 1 hour after. It's draining your energy. But I don't know if many, but I think most people don't even realize that how it's affecting them hours, days, weeks, or months after. So this is where I'm trying to have an answer, or probably an advice from a Zen teacher how to go about.
I mean, it's all about awareness. So when you can feel it when you're starting to get angry, right? And when you started to get angry, I mean, you sense your heartbeat changing, and you're not fully yourself. So from a Zen point of view, you need to intervene at that time. So how do you intervene? You need to slow yourself down. And if you're someone who is very hot-tempered, you get out of the situation. So you get out of the conflict, go in a quiet place where you can actually calm yourself down. Option 2, you can go for a run. You get the right chemicals in the body to calm you down again. And then once that calming down phase happens, it could be also talking to a friend where you're just venting. You know, that thing happens also. Once that calmed down, then you actually are in a space where you can actually analyze why you were angry.
So when you're sharing it with someone, you're also putting it into perspective of why you were angry, and helps you understand better. So it's a good thing that you call a friend and just vent it out.
If the person is okay with you venting and is a good listener.
Okay, that's very hard.
But
they hear you, but do they listen to you?
They actually have people like that who would listen to me if there's something. But yeah, depending on the context.
Oh, fantastic. I wanted to come back into your world of teaching. How are you passing on your values, your core values onto students?
I still meet students after 13 years. Last week I met with my students after 13 years, and they are in finance. Some of them are doctors, some are engineers. And they still carry fond memories of whatever we used to discuss in class. And it made them dream and actually visualize things which now they are living in the engineer world and all that. And that's interesting. And what I find amazing is after 13 years, we can still connect and actually sit down and talk about the things we've done. So to me, that's meaningful relationship when it actually has the same connection after so many years.
And now with things getting back to the new normal, and we are learning to live with the pandemic, what would be the advice you would give to people going forward to better adapt, to improve their quality of life, or any tip that you would give from a Zen point of view to help people in their everyday lives?
Yeah, I think the first thing it makes us realize is the concept of impermanence. I mean, if there is one truth in the universe, it's the concept of impermanence. Everything is changing. I mean, we're talking right now, and last time we talked was 16 months before. I mean, the two of us changed. I'm a different person, you're a different person too. Our friendship also changed. And that's how it's always going to be. We're always changing. And the only skill I think as human beings we need to have is that ability to adapt. We are, as a species, I think we try to cling to what we have. But that always changes, so you can't really cling and get attached to what you have. Because it's always going to change. So that's the number one skill life forces us to actually learn and practice. And also cherish, be grateful for whatever things we have. Sometimes we have good friends, good family members, and we actually don't give them the time needed because we're always chasing something. We want things to change, but we are not valuing the things we have. So that's why, to me, friends and family is like one of the things I need to give time to.
How do you give time to them? You spend time with them, just sit down, we go out. How does it work out for you?
It's different for different people. With my son, I need to play with him, help him do his work. With some close friends, I have to text them every day, check on with them whether they are fine, and
Of course.
things like that. I do that on a daily basis.
Okay, it's like doing your homework.
Yeah, but I don't do it as a pressure. I mean, it's
Okay.
just that I know it's important. And, with human beings, different people have different needs. Like, for example, with my sister, I can talk to her like once per week. Then, we're fine with that. And with some people, I need to talk to them every day because we need each other every day. So that's just the difference. It's balancing all of that.
All right. So before coming to the end of this episode, can we recap the 5 fields that you focus every day? I think it would be very, very interesting for people to hopefully try to take up 1 or 2 or even all 5 of them. So the first one was dedicated to professional work.
Yeah.
Second one is exercise. Third one is meditation.
Yes.
Fourth one was
Research.
So reading every day.
Yeah.
And last but not least is family and friends.
Friend time. Yeah.
Like you have, I have to ask, you have a timetable for it?
I do.
Like the number of hours that you allocate to
I
them?
actually do. I mean, it varies on weekends also. Like, I get up at 5, 4:45. That's when the exercise and meditation happens. After 6, I'm going to text the people who are very close to me to tell them that I love them. So that's what I do after 6 or up to 7. Then I do the things I have to do at home. Then the professional work kicks in. Then in the evening, research, writing, and then maybe some more exercise in the evening.
And family.
And family. So, yeah, I manage to tick all the 5 of them every day.
So you basically do all the same thing every day. Don't you get bored?
No, and that's where we bring the beginner's mind into practice.
Okay.
Because each day is different, right? And let's say you're talking to a friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different conversation every day.
Yeah.
So it's enriching. It's new, and I think that's what I find really enriching. I never get bored of someone. It has never happened because every time I talk to the person, I see the person as a new person. And when we exchange ideas, the person changes also. We change viewpoints and all that. And to me, that's really an ideal relationship. Whether it's with work, because even with work, you're changing the way you work. And if you view each day, each moment as being very unique, different, but you give all your love and effort to the moment, life becomes very beautiful. And in the background, I know I may die any time, so I really try to maximize each and every interaction.
Just like you discover a secret all the time.
Yes. yeah, that's.
Geerish, thank you very much for being with us for this episode of Encounter.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you again. But again, on behalf of the NBC team, thank you for being with us in the studio.
Thanks to you, Roshan.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this episode of Encounter. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If you have any questions, queries, proposals, do drop an email at encounter@nbc.itnet.mu. The address should be on the screen right now. Or you can also send a mail by regular post. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you again for another program of Encounter.